Yeah. Okay, very well. Okay, who will do the Pratna today? No one? Athar? No? No Vishrut? Why no Viren? Pranav? Shriyamsini? Can you do it? No, why? What happened?
I was taking class, so I need to
Somebody is
be quiet.
taking class. Okay, fine. Okay, you'll not be. Okay. Neil, will you do the Pratna? Neil?
Wait, is it like the Gita Dhyanam or the...
No, it's just the Saraswati Namastubhyam and Vakratunda Mahakaya.
Okay. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varate Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samatprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Harihi Om. So, first of all, welcome everyone. Last class, we started our discussion on what is called Sattva Rajas Tamas. And we also saw who are the gods that we have. Varuna, Surya, Agni. Correct? What are they? We said that without the sun, there is no life. Anybody who disagrees with this statement? If there is no sun, there is no life. Anybody who says, no, without the sun also we can live.
But sir, you can make like your own artificial sun using nuclear fusion.
Yeah, but how long will you do that for?
Hmm.
Where do you get your hydrogen from?
Depends on the amount of like hydrogen there is.
Yeah, for how long can you do that?
Well, we have a lot of hydrogen atoms, but like most of them are in use. So like,
Okay. Let me take a step back. Where did those hydrogen atoms even come from?
the Big Bang.
Well, that is beyond the solar system. Let us say there is no sun, and then what? For starters, where is gravity? If there is no sun, where is your atmosphere coming from? Is that a question?
So basically, we can't survive without the sun.
Yes, that is a fact. In fact, have you all heard of National Geographic?
Yeah.
In the year 1930, and this is something that is there in our scriptures, which is there very much in our scriptures, age-old scriptures. National Geographic conducted research, and one of the papers that they published in the 1930s was the fact that we eat sun, we live sun, we die sun. That was the title of the paper. Do we eat the sun? Is there photosynthesis without sun? Right? Without photosynthesis, can anybody survive without photosynthesis?
No, sir.
No. The moment you wake up, Why do you even wake up? I know all your sleep schedules are disrupted in these times. Hopefully, I don't want to disrupt them. I don't want them disrupted. The ideal time to sleep is in the night. Are you all aware of this fact? So if you're having a sleep schedule where you are like working in the night, sleeping in the day, not the best of things. Probably should look through ways where you can change that schedule. Now, why is this so? We'll look back to this discussion. Okay. So now we say that without photosynthesis, it's not possible. Photosynthesis is possible only if there is the sun. I'll ask you another important question. Why is there no life on any other planet?
Because they are either too close or too far to the sun. It is either the planet is too cold or too hot. It's not perfect like Earth.
One
And
reason.
also,
Okay.
you need like the perfect atoms and stuff. You need an atmosphere, you need a magnetic field, you need water, you need like vegetation.
So two things. Yes, a magnetic field, you can still do away with a bit of magnetic field and things. But two critical things. One is, yes, optimal temperature. The second one is water. These are two quintessential things for life to exist. Okay. So that is possible only if you are at the right distance away from the sun and there is ample water available. Are rains possible if there is no sun?
No.
Do all the hydrogen fusion that you want. You can create an artificial sun. Yeah, that's relatively straightforward. Or rather, I wouldn't say artificial sun. You can create the artificial source of light and artificial source of heat, perhaps. That's all what you're saying. No, when you say that you can create by a hydrogen fusion, you can create an artificial sun. Can you create all other minerals and all other elements that are required for living?
So I think well, like using like nuclear fusion with hydrogen, you can make other elements such as like oxygen, carbon, iron, and helium.
Are you aware of the latest technology that has happened so far in the human world, where how much of research has happened in the fusion? You're right. Technically, it is possible, and nature does exactly that. But is it possible to do it? Have human beings succeeded in creating, let us say, a molecule of oxygen by say fusing what to a helium with a nitrogen or something like that?
So I don't think anybody has ever like artificially made oxygen.
That does that answer your question? Right. So there is a process. There is what is called a natural process of selection and evolution that has happened over time, and where the dependence on sun is given of high prominence for that. Right? Maybe there is another way of evolving. I'm not saying there is no other way of evolving, or in another multiverse or in another parallel universe that is not possible. But what I'm saying is, in this current way of living, there's the natural way of doing things is through the sun in our life. Do we all agree? So that is the reason why we have said sun is the most important thing for all of us. So once you have fixed that, that's why we said we will do. We need to be We need to we need to have a sense of gratitude towards that primordial thing which is sort of giving us our life. Gratitude is a very natural phenomena. Do we all agree? Now you can express gratitude in multitude of ways. The very fact that we recognize that there is something which is enabling us to live a life that is so good itself is the first step towards that gratitude. Correct? And we should always have that for a fact. Okay? Okay. Now let's move on. Now let's look at, we know what all physical things the sun does. It enables photosynthesis, it enables our food, over a period of time, there's a lot of fossil fuels that get created. Over time, there's a lot of energy, minerals, etc. that get created. It enables rain, it enables it gives us our source of vitamin D, it gives us a source of so many things. Physically, we know a lot of things, correct? Now, let's move to a little subtler thing. What is that? What happens in our mind? Sure, Atha. So what happens in our mind? What is the role that the sun plays on our mind? And this is where I want to bring in the concept called Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. We discussed this, we started this discussion, and deliberately I said, we'll hang on to this. We will go back a little more, and I just asked you certain questions. What was that? I asked you why would what are your natural reactions and responses to certain situations? Correct? Last week we discussed this. Somebody said, if you're faced with a challenge, how would you react? Would you take nonsense? Would you not take nonsense? How would you handle nonsense? How would you handle good things, etc.? Now this, handling the situations externally, is sort of an intrinsic phenomena that is driven by us, that is driven internally through a lot of things. So there are three things called Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay, and all of you had some idea of what is called Sattva, what is called Rajas, what is called Tamas, correct? Yeah. So all of us said that, Sattva is something that we like, Rajas is something that drives us. Sri Ansini said, I am one third. Then Adikshit said, I am a lot to do, I have a lot of Rajasic feelings, etc., etc., etc. Now let me sort of demonstrate to you what is the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay, even before we get there, we discussed what are RGB values, right? How the colors change and how things come, and I said how Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are equivalents of this RGB. Now the question is simple: is Sattva good? Is Rajas good? Is Tamas good? We are allowed to have good, bad, like, dislike, this, that, this, everything we like. So what is good? What is Sattva good? Is Rajas good? Is Tamas good?
Sir, all of them play an equal role.
All of them play an equal role. Okay, that's Vishnut's answer. Neil, what is your answer?
Well, I thought it was Sattva, but it depends. All of them, it's not like one is bad, one is good. It's like all of them are equal.
All of them are equal.
Sattva is probably you'll get the best out of it, the best results out of it.
Okay. Adikshit, do you have any thoughts?
Sir, I think they all are equal, but it matters on the situation. Like if we do that on some things, on other things, then it matters on it. Yeah, like
Okay. Shriyamsini, can you answer or you are busy?
sir, I can, but I'll be really.
Okay, no, fine. Viren,
So,
okay, you can come back to me if you want to think.
I really don't think I have a
You
idea.
don't have an answer. Athar, do you think you have something to add?
Yes, sir. They
Tell.
all are equal, but when the situation come, then they show up, and then it comes to our brain like this.
It comes to our brain when the situation shows up. Okay, very nice. Anisha, can you answer? We'll come back to you, Vishwat, 1 minute. Okay. Pranav.
Sir, even I think like all of them are the same. Like all of them are equally important.
They're all equally important. Correct. Okay. Vishwat, yes, you had something to add.
Sir, it's like if someone is always in the sattva guna, it might not good. It might not good as he is not getting any of the other things. If anyone is always in rajasic, is happiness and is happy, too much happiness can make someone greedy or make them angry. Okay, and if they are in tamasic or always sad, it is not very good for their mind as it can cause a lot of stress.
Okay. Thank you. That is very good thoughts. Shriyan has just joined. Shriyan, we were discussing about sattva, rajas and tamas. What do you think is which is superior and which is inferior? Do you have any thoughts?
Sir, I guess so that Rajasic is superior and rest is inferior.
Okay. So you also agree with pretty much what everybody else is saying. So all of you are absolutely right. All of them play a very, very important role in our life. And it is not that you should be highly on sattva or highly on rajas or highly on tamas. However, as we saw with the RGB, we are not a combination which has made us a perfect white. There is necessarily a dominant guna in all of us. Okay. And what we need to move towards as first step in this part of life is to make them 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That is the first step. That is where all of us go. So even if you take the 24-hour cycle of our day, 24 hours, right? There also it is divided, it can be divided into 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3 of 8 hours. Now, all the 8 hours is not necessarily contiguous. So for instance, tamas is a very important, plays a very important part when we need to sleep. When our mind needs to switch off. When we are all very tired. Right? When we have worked very, very hard. There's a state where we just need to switch off. And that in the night provides us the best surrounding and suitable opportunity for all of us to just sleep. Except for nocturnal animals, everything else pretty much sleeps in the night. Do we all agree? Including plants. When I say sleep, sleep is not necessarily just closing your eyes and going off and dozing. It is also about ceasing to perform your necessary duties in a lot of ways. Plants, the key feature for them is to produce food for leaves, for instance. The key feature for them is to produce food for the plant. Sure. Okay. So if the plants do not produce any food in the night, correct? So they cease to do that. They use up that food in the night, and that's where they go to sleep. Another quality of tamas. We spoke about these what are they called? Hibernating animals. When it becomes very cold, when it is not possible for them to get their food, what do? They eat up so much, they build up a lot of fat around just below their skin, right? And then they go into hibernation. And this is exactly what happens in the poles, especially. Mostly got to do with polar bears or penguins. To some extent, penguins also do that, but they don't do it so much. But yeah, polar bears. Then there are seals, right? All these animals get into a sort of hibernation. Even snakes at some point do that. Some of them at some point. Okay, so they do that. That is what drives tamas. Now, the best way to take care of tamas is to switch off your mind. Otherwise, if your mind is active with a lot of tamasic gunas, what happens is the perfect saying that goes, an idle mind
Is
What is an idle
a
mind?
is a devil's workshop.
An idle mind is a devil's workshop. Perfect. That's exactly what tamas drives. If you leave your mind idle, and at that point, if you are high on tamasic gunas, nobody can help you with it. You'll develop qualities like jealousy, you'll develop qualities like anger, frustration, then too much of attachment, you'll get too emotional with things. Then you'll get greedy, then you'll sort of with all these things, your intelligence will be unable to process these, and it says, okay, now this is got to do with system failure. No more intelligence available for all these things. You act the way you want. I give up. That's why it's very important to rest when it is absolutely critical. Okay, that is the role of tamas. Now, there are people who are naturally tamasic in nature. Okay, for instance, Bhudevi is accepted to be very tamasic because of the way she needs to handle a lot of things. She'll take everything that comes to her. Right? What happens to the earth? What happens at a place where, okay, have you all seen lightning? Right? Lightning, we all have seen lightning. What happened?
Yesterday night only.
Yesterday night only, yeah, it was full of lightning. Yes, I agree. I also saw that. Okay. What happens when there is lightning?
Sir, when there is lightning, there is thunder.
Lightning and thunder, fair enough. But what is the key thing that is associated with lightning?
Sir, there will be a storm.
Electrons.
Electrons, okay.
Flow of charges.
Flow of charges, absolutely. Okay. How much is the flow of charges in the electric supply?
So should be around 32 ampere or 16 ampere. Depends upon what type of generally for house appliances, like normal house appliances, 16 amperes is enough. But if we need to go for an oven or something, we need 32 ampere.
32, maybe 164 with AC and other things, or higher. High-end this one. 5 amperes is one way of doing it. Voltage is directly related to current. So in terms of voltage, because everyone else would have heard of voltage. So what is a typical voltage that flows around? Yes, Adikshit.
I guess it's 230.
230 volts, 220 to 240 volts. Absolutely right. That is what we get in our houses. What happens in, say, is that always 230 volts wherever it's in the line? What is it? In the line, in the main line, how much is there, Adiksha?
Where it will start with 10K, I guess, and then when it reaches our home through transformers and stations, it becomes 230.
Correct. So it is not 10K. There are three versions of it. One is 1,32,000 volts. That is when it is produced. Then there's a transformer that steps it down. That is the job of a transformer. Then it steps down to something like a 66,000 volts. Then it is again stepped down to something like 11,000 volts for transmission. Then it is stepped down to what we have as 220 volts. That's the maximum that we all can get in houses.
If we get more low than that, then it won't work.
It will probably work, but what will happen to your appliances?
Sir, all of them will, because of the sudden charge, sir, they'll just like blast open.
So all appliances are somewhere designed for 220 volts, right? Now it will just boom, over. It's one fire, right? Now this is basically electricity which is flowing, right? Now, what do you think when the electricity, when the lightning strikes? What is the kind of charges that? What is the voltage that goes? What do you think is the voltage that goes?
Sir, I think the record is 50 million volts or something like that.
50 million volts. Neil.
I think it's like 40,000.
40,000. Okay. What about Shriyan?
So maybe like 16 million, I guess. I don't know.
You don't know. Yes, Adikshan.
Sir, it will be something like a lot more than something like million or something, because it can burn up things.
Yes. So if anything is struck by lightning, that's an instantaneous. It is instantaneously gone, unless you have a lightning conductor which passes it down. We'll talk about this. It's a very important factor. Just bear with me. Any animal, any plant, anything that is struck by lightning dies instantaneously. Do we all know that, or partially is impaired? Right? Have you all seen trees fall because of lightning?
But sir, some people have survived because of light.
They've survived. I'm not saying they've not survived. But the thing is, they had to go through an experience. Let's also talk about why they have survived. It's a very important factor. Now, a lightning strikes at least at 1 million volts. Nothing less than that. We all know what happens when, at 220 volts, if you forget 220 volts, even a 12 volt battery, the kind of shock that we can get. Correct? Now, at 1 million volts, now that is the kind of energy that is passed down onto the earth at various different places at any point of time. Every second there's a lightning striking somewhere on this earth, correct? Now the question is, does the earth burn down?
No, sir, because of the ozone layer and the atmosphere, the burn doesn't burn from the lightning.
No, that is not just the fact. There is an active ionic layer, I agree, but certain times it's below the ionosphere, right? It strikes and it strikes the earth.
Yes, sir. And then sometimes the houses burn if they're in the way.
Sorry?
Sometimes the houses and the ground burns.
Yes.
In the way of the lightning.
Yes. Houses can burn. Does the earth burn? My question is, have you seen the earth burn?
No, sir.
So the earth can't burn because it's made out of like a material.
The particular part where the lightning falls, that part gets black or it burns. That's all.
Neil, what do you say? I'll come back to you, Shyam, on this. Yeah. Yes, Neil.
The earth isn't made out of like a material that is flammable, which means it can't get burnt.
Forget burn. Okay, does it get destroyed?
On it can get burnt, but like not the
Fair enough. It does not burn. Does it get destroyed? Anything where the lightning strikes gets destroyed. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the earth get destroyed?
No, sir, because I think the ground will be moist enough to absorb the shock rather than letting it go down.
Absorb the shock. Yes, Viren, you have to say something.
Sir, I think that because like so many lightnings in the world, and the earth is more bigger than the lightning, so it can handle that much.
It can handle that much. Okay, that's a good way of putting it. But the point is simple. Every one of you is right in the sense that earth, there is no concept of burning. Shriyamsini, yes.
Sir, since it is it is not a permanent electricity using a wire cable, and it is only static electricity. I mean, yeah, a bit of dynamic. Like it might lose the charge as soon as like when it's trying to hit down. Because even when we take that plastic comb example, the paper only gets stuck to it for some time. After that, it falls down. So it may lose its charge.
Right. But what happens if that same lightning strikes you?
Sir, we burn.
We burn. Or rather, we are destroyed. Correct? So, yes, Neil said that, there have been people who have survived survived being hit by lightning. That is a fact. Now, the point is very simple. Have you all heard of lightning conductors? Tall buildings.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I've heard about it on the Burj Khalifa, because it's really high up in the sky, so there will be like a lot of lightning hitting it. Like I've seen videos during a thunderstorm, like it almost hits the lorry like every 15 seconds.
Correct. So let me just explain it to people who do not know what is a lightning conductor. We all understand what is a metal. What are metals? Metals are those which conduct electricity. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, the moment you put a tip where it receives some charge and let it will flow through and go wherever you connect it next. Earth is the best conductor of electricity. It absorbs all static charges, all charges. You just put on earth and it will just take it. It will not complain. That's why if there is a voltage point that is just put on earth somewhere and then left there, and you pass nearby, then you are not going to get the shock. Of course, if you step on it, you'll be you'll burn perhaps. But unless you come in contact with that live wire and if it is just on the ground, even if you are a meter away, that electricity is not passing on to you, because earth can absorb all charges. That is a natural sink for everything. Whatever you put, it will absorb it. And she does such a beautiful job that she can convert that into more useful things for all of us. Fossils, best example. Fossil fuel, best example. Minerals, another example. You name it, and all that happens only because earth can absorb all these things.
Sir, coal.
Sorry?
Coal. COL.
Coal, yes, coal. Absolutely. That is also a sort
Sir,
of.
even petroleum.
That's what, fossil fuels.
So lightning strikes are so hot that if they happen on a place where sand is there, it instantly vaporizes the water in the sand and turns it into something like glass.
Correct. There you go. She absorbs all that and still produces something useful. Right? What will take probably the human beings so much of energy to do, nature has bestowed upon a process which will give it to you very naturally. That is where a tamasic guna is very useful if you are taking it in the right spirit. Okay? Yes, Shriyan, you have to say something?
There are lightning conductors made up of copper.
Not necessarily. It can be made of aluminum as well. It can be made of something where at the tip when the lightning strikes, it can just conduct everything down to the earth. It's a long sort of a rod. In fact, this is the best thing to say. Whenever you are struck by lightning, it is best you are sitting inside a car.
So that all the metal absorbs the shock.
It is spread out. The static electricity is just spread out and it just goes out. The tires actually have the carbon, this one, which will absorb and pass it on down to the earth. You should never be standing near a tree when lightning is striking.
Yes, sir. The tree
Otherwise,
will
the tree will fall.
Otherwise, the tree will fall. You will also get.
not burn.
Sir, but if the car has passed crash test, nothing will happen to us, sir.
Sorry?
Sir, if the car has passed crash test, then nothing will happen to us,
No,
sir.
no, no. Forget crash test. It's about the way the car, any automobile is designed. If the lightning strikes, it just spreads out. That's the reason. That's why you don't find so much of problems. In fact, aeroplanes are another good example.
Yes, sir.
They go through so much of lightning every now and then, right? So that's where they're all designed. There's a natural protection that they get, that we sort of we use nature so much that we have got so used to it that we don't pay attention to it anymore. We are thanklessly using it. We are, without thanking them, we are using them. Okay, so that is where it's very important to have it.
Then
So
what if a ball bigger than Earth of thunder, like the ball of thunder which is bigger than Earth, hits the Earth? Does the Earth absorb all the lightning, or does it damage the Earth?
please repeat your question, Shreya.
Sir, what if a ball of lightning which is bigger than the Earth hits the Earth?
So there is no such thing as a ball of lightning.
Sir, I think he's referring to a meteor or a comet.
Is that what you're referring to?
No, sir. Like
No.
lot of
No,
lightning.
sir. I think what Shriyan is telling is it's either from the solar thing
Yes,
or
sir.
any unnatural phenomenon which happens, and there's a huge voltage heading towards Earth.
Yes, sir.
So okay, just to talk about electricity, is just a charge flow. Okay. Now there is no physical matter that is blindly going there. Physical matter would be in the form of charges that are going there. That's about it. Right. If you are referring to some specific object that is hurling towards us, as somebody rightly mentioned about meteor or comets or anything like that,
Sir,
that is a very
solar-
different phenomenon.
Then how about solar flares?
Solar flares are different again. Solar flares are not hurling towards the earth.
Okay.
Solar flares are naturally there, and those phenomena can be seen differently. Right? How many of you have seen solar flares?
So even during solar flares, the Earth can still absorb all the energy from it
Correct.
through its magnetic field
Correct.
and cause the most beautiful auroras we'll ever see.
Gita or bolus. Correct. Absolutely. Yes, Vishnu, you have seen solar flares?
Yes, sir. I have seen them.
Where have you seen them?
Sir, we had gone to Darjeeling or something.
Darjeeling, yeah, okay, maybe, but not so much. If you go to some place like Ireland or on beyond, where you have these, they take you in the night, 2 o'clock, 3 in the morning. You can see those blue flashes that are coming around. Okay, of course.
Northern lights.
Northern lights, yes.
Sir, then I've seen.
Sorry?
Sir, if it's the same Alaska's northern lights, then I've
Yes.
seen it, sir.
Yeah,
Or
Alaska's
like
northern.
aurora borealis.
Yeah, so these are all things that can happen, yet the earth will absorb. The point I'm making is very simple. That is the tamasic guna. If you have brought yourself up to a point where you can absorb anything and everything, that is a very different thing. Now, if that is going to trigger you in a lot of ways, that's the problem. Till the point you are in the complete state of you are not going to be affected by it, tamasic guna is not going to cause problem. Now that is where, but the mind does not allow you to do that. It will start processing. Why is that person doing better than me? Why is this going this way? Why is this wrong? The earth never complained to all of us. Did she? Did she come and say, why the hell is there so much of lightning? I can't put up with it. Did she ever come and say there is so much of problem happening? People are putting so much filth in me. Why is this happening? Did she ever complain? She never complained, no? When it gets too much, yes, she will shake and say, this is earthquake, this is this, etc. That's a different story, but those are very rare. When it gets too much for her also. But otherwise, she never complained, no? How many of us can be like that Mother Earth? We can't. That is because the mind will trigger a lot of things. The moment we see something, it will trigger, no, this cannot happen. It will create some jealousy, it will create some anger, it will create some greed, it will create some inebriated state. Intelligence will shut down. Intelligence failure. That is what is a tamasic guna triggering. If you don't want that to happen, that is why people with a lot of tamas are told, work very hard. Simplest way of overcoming tamas. The more you work, the more you do hard work. The more you do hard work, it naturally starts flowing. Naturally, a lot of things starts clearing out in the mind. You say, let go, let go. This is what? Throw it out through work. Throw it out, throw it out, throw it out. That's what happens. And that is what tamas is all about. But we all need a good 8 hours of sleep every single day. When I say 8, probably it differs from person to person depending on the guna, but that's sort of an average. 6 to 8 hours is sort of a given. And when you have that sleep, your mind is rested, you have thrown out all the tamasic forces that are coming in, you let your body relax, and when you're up, a lot of things change. That is why when we go through shock, when we go through some emotional, strong things that was not expected to happen, the first thing that they tell you is go to sleep. Correct? The longer or a little worse version of that is where they are put into unconscious situations, unconscious states. When there is an operation that needs to be done.
Sir, anesthesia?
That's what. Through an anesthesia, that's an artificial way of inducing it. But when too much of it is taken, just like the earth, people can get into coma. When they have not been able to handle this. That is another way of tamas acting. Okay. Another way is that it just makes your intelligence flat. It does not allow your intelligence anymore to function. Okay, if you're having such bouts, just make sure you're working very hard. The best way to overcome this just through hard work, nothing more. Okay, that is tamas. Now, what is rajas? Rajas is something that keeps you motivated and keeps you driving to work. If you are doing something, you want to do more. You want to do it more. Let's see if I can get this more. Let's see if I can get that more. You fail, it's okay. Let me fail. Let me go get more. That drives you to, there's a drive in all of us, right? Where we tend to do a lot of physical, mental, we are constantly engaged and focused on doing something. That drive, that is especially driven through Rajas Guna. Okay. Now this is another very important aspect, and there are times of the day when this is very, very active, for instance. If you want to do very strong physical activity, the best time is after you have woken up fresh, everything is good. What is the first thing that we all do? We want to go for a jog, we want to go for a run, we want to play something. After sitting for 6 hours, listening to lectures, listening to classes, listening to so much, evening, what is the first thing that we all want to do?
Relax.
Relax or go out and play. How many of us
Go out and play.
go out and play?
Sometimes go and play, sometimes relax.
Sometimes relax. When do you want to relax? Who said relax?
Sir, me Shriyan.
Yes, Shriyan. When do you want to relax?
Sir, when I hear a lot of lectures and I'm very bored, sometimes I want to sleep.
You want to sleep. Next time, try one thing. After you are so much bored with so much of lectures, go out and play a good game and come back.
Okay.
Go for a swim. Okay. If you don't swim, just go run around or play some game, play some cricket, play some football, come back. Let us see what happens after that.
Okay, sir.
Then you sit and relax. Then just try this variant.
Okay, sir.
Instead of just sitting and saying, hey, you know what, now it's been a very boring day, let me go to sleep. Just say, instead of doing that, go out, play for half an hour, 1 hour, whatever. Come back, then you sit and relax. Tell me the difference between that relaxing and this relaxing. What happens? Okay. The moment you have done too much of these activities, not too much, optimal amount of this activity, when the Rajas Guna is worn out, what that leads to is a sort of calming effect on all of us. That calming effect where the mind is very clear to think without biases, without any prejudices. It allows you to just calmingly reflect on a lot of activities, reflect on what all we have done, and then make decisions accordingly. That is called Sattva Guna. Okay. So now, given all the activities, 100 activities that you people are doing, I'm sure, all of you are doing a lot of work, going to school, playing, finishing your assignments, then having some screen time, if at all, sitting with me and chatting like this, and then listening to so many other things, preparing for exams. Now, all of you need to do one thing for me. In a sheet of paper, all the activities that you do, you should classify them. When would you do that? Under what guna would you want them to be done? Can we do that? Let me give an example. When you are preparing for the exam, what is the guna that you should have?
Satvik.
Yes, Adikshit.
Satvik.
Satvik. Shri Amsini, do you agree?
Sir, Rajas.
Rajas. Okay. Vishrut. Okay, Vishrut has disappeared for a while. Athar.
Sir, same Rajas, I think.
Rajas. Neel. Neel has also disappeared. Shriya.
The same Rajas.
Rajas. Okay. Now all of you need to justify why Rajas. I got 3 answers for Rajas.
Sir, because you said that Rajas keeps you like makes you do the work and like keeps you in the flow.
Physical work. There's a difference between physical work and mental work. Okay. Anyways, that's okay. Shri Amsini, yes.
Sir, it differs in every exam, sir. Like if you need to go for a art exam and you need to sit and stitch the Rajas, for practicing for stitching, you need to actually sit and drive yourself to do that. So that's one. And then like if you the subjects which you find difficult and you want to learn it in a way which you can understand, and that's a physical way, so that you need to drive that also. So Rajas should be what you're learning for your exam. Sometimes you don't want to read, but the situation forces you to. So the mood inside you drives you to read. You don't have a choice.
Okay. So let me now ask you the question a little differently. Let us say you need to learn something. You're just interested in learning a particular subject or learning music for yourself and doing it just for yourself. No exam, nothing. What should be the driving force?
Satvik.
Satvik. Addiction.
A hard song, then Rajasik. If it's a normal like slow song and like low voice and all, then you should like do it Satvik.
Okay. Athar.
Satvik.
Satvik. Okay. Neel. Neel is not there. No? Shriya.
Sir, I could not listen to the question because I got disconnected for a few seconds.
Okay. No problem. Then hang in there. Vishrut, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What do you think?
Sir, I couldn't hear the question. I too got disconnected.
Oh, no problem. Let me then change that whole thing and bring the perspective right. So there are 2 aspects. One is a competitive aspect. One is just a pure self-motivated aspect. Right? Now these are 2 different things. And you're all right in saying that whenever there's a competitive aspect involved, there is a sense of rajas that needs to come in there. Because you are thinking through, how do I be the best in this class? How do I do the best thing for me in this? Correct? However, having said that, pure rajas is not a good thing at that point in time. You should not go blindly with rajas. The simple reason is then you will have no bars hold. That will be a state where you'll even forgo all your ethics that you have learned.
Sir, that can make you very greedy.
Exactly. Rajas leads you to these factors. That is where it's a combination of rajas and sattva. Of course, you should have a lot of rajas to say, that go-getter attitude. You need to say, okay, that what is wrongly called the killer instinct per se. But you need that to just focus and get, let's say you are focused on an exam to crack a competitive exam and then get the best out of it. You need that focus, that single-minded focus. Arjuna, for instance, we all know that story where he had the arrow and he was shooting at the eye of the bird. That focus can come only through rajas. Okay? But having said that, the ethics in us, which says whether it is the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do, should be coming from sattva. So there should be a 20% at least component of sattva plus an 80% component of rajas when we are doing this work. Okay. Then, if you are doing it for the self, you are meditating, let us say in a state of meditation, you are learning things just to gain knowledge. As much as knowledge we want, we need to learn so much. It's all so much of blissful thing that is coming to us. Then there is no holds barred. There is nothing that is saying I need to learn only so. I need to make sure I need to get this much by the end of this day. Correct? Maybe it will take you in a totally different tangential route for a different knowledge gaining session. That is pure sattva. Okay, now we all understand. Now the same thing. Let me give another example. Let us say we are playing a game of football. Okay, then whether should it be sattva or should it be rajas?
Sir, it should be both equally.
It should be both equally. Okay. What about Vishnu? Yes, Vishnu did not answer last.
Sir, it should be both equally. Is rajas is your competitive and you can be competitive to learn new things, or you can also be sattvic when you lose.
Okay. Then Neil. Okay. Neil is not there. Shriya.
Sir, I guess so more of rajas because you feel more encouraged.
Okay. Shriyansini.
So probably 95% of rajas and 5% of tamas. Yeah. I mean sattvic.
Sattvic. Okay. Okay. Again, the principle is simple. Define your end objective. If you are playing the game for fun with friends all around and enjoying the game, then there should be a component of competitiveness. Otherwise, the game is not played. Right? Then the quantum of rajas is low, the sattva is high. Let us say if it's a simple match, that is, it doesn't matter who wins or who loses. Correct? Then the component of sattva can be very high. The rajas can be low. Whereas if it's a do or die match, if we don't win this, the school will not get into the final. If we don't win this match, my team will not get somewhere. Then a lot of rajasic force is coming in. Correct? Purely another situation where you are playing just for the sake of learning the game. A lot of sattva will come in. Correct? Do you all agree to this? Very natural. So now what I want you all to do Yes, put in the group after you do this. Take a sheet of paper. Write down each activity that you do from morning till evening. What should that guna correspond to that activity? Put 3 columns. Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. Okay. Each of them you can say high Sattva, high Tamas, high Rajas, high Tamas, right? Or high, medium, low. Can we have these 3 buckets? Which activity requires high Sattva? Which activity requires medium Sattva? Which activity requires low Sattva? Which activity requires high Rajas? Which activity requires medium Rajas? Which activity requires low Tamas, low Rajas? I'll give you an example. I'll show you how to make this table. Okay. Let us see. Everybody can see my Excel sheet here?
Yes, sir.
You can see it, right? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a small table. Okay. Okay, this is your activity. You can take a pencil and paper and write this. Okay. Activity, Sattva component, Rajas component, and Tamas component. Okay. Let's start with the day. First thing. Okay. What do you do? What is the first thing? Eating breakfast. Getting up or doing or going for a job. What should be here? What should be the component? Where should it be? You can put high, medium, low in whatever buckets. Whatever you think is right, you just put this. Can we do this? And all of you put this out and share it in the group. Should we do this exercise?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So with this, we will now, any questions that you people have? Yes, Shyamsi.
Sir, it's like a question. Like, I wouldn't say it's a question, sir, but curious enough to know, sir. So we know that Lord Brahma has 4 heads. Sir, so is it like he was a born quadruplet twin, or like is it that it's a conjoined twin or something?
Okay, good question. Now for that you will, okay. See, a lot of things that are put out in the Puranas. Okay, the way Brahma has 4 heads, or Ishvara is Parvati's husband. These are all stories that are put out for a deeper meaning. Now, if you ask me, can I see Brahma with 4 heads and where is he found? Probably I'll be the first person who will say, I don't know where he is found.
So because like when he needs to communicate, will it be only one face which will be speaking, or all the 4 together? Because there'll be 4 brains.
So hang in there. That's what I'm saying. It is when we say 4 heads. 4 heads need not mean 4 physical heads all around going with 4 different things. Now, first of all, giving what is called a nama and a rupa. That is, you're basically naming something and giving a physical structure to that is a very different thing from a very subtle aspect. Let's take the subtle aspect in this. What do the 4 heads what do the 4 heads signify?
North, west, east, and south.
Not quite. That has got nothing to do with directions. The 4 heads actually signify the 4 Vedas. Okay. Now, Vedas are beyond directions and beyond time. Now that the moment you get that concept that they are four different Vedas, now you will ask a question, okay, why is it head? Why can't it be books? Right? Or why is it not some sort of a device which is just transmitting a lot of things? In those days, they had the best concept was the face. So they gave it a shape of a face. Now there are multiple ways. There are many things like this. Best example. Have you all heard of Aishwarya? Aishwarya is a name. What does Aishwarya mean? Anybody?
Rich.
Rich. Wealth. Pranav. Yes. What does Aishwarya mean?
Sir, its meaning is wealth.
Wealth. Okay. What anybody else with any other meaning?
Richness.
Richness. Absolutely right. This is the most common understanding amongst all the people. But do you know how the word Aishwarya comes? Ishwarasya bhavaha Aishwaryaha. One who has a lot of Ishwara bhava. Isha, that which transcends all of us. That bhava is, that person is called Aishwarya. Okay. Now, why does it translate to wealth for all of us? If you have Ishwara Kripa, then wealth comes. That is the natural flow. But then, Aishwarya has got nothing to do with the wealth. It is Ishwara Bhava that is to be made as Aishwarya. There are many things like this. I can go on with, okay. Have you all heard of a name? Let's take. What does the word Adikshit mean?
King.
King. Okay. Adikshit was also a king. Okay. What does the word Adikshit mean?
Actually, I guess ruling king. Yeah, ruling king. Not
Okay.
king, just.
Sri Amsini, you have something to say?
No, sir.
No. Okay. The word Adikshit means Adihi Ikshate. One who can see far.
Sir, can you tell it in Kannada?
ಯಾರು ದೂರದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಯಾರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ದುರಾದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ದೂರದೃಷ್ಟಿ. Far, one who is a visionary.
Farsightedness.
Rather than far-sighted, it's called visionary. One who is a visionary is Adikshit. Okay. One of the visionary, king is also supposed to be a visionary. Okay. So all our names have some meaning, very deep meaning associated with them. Okay. So that is where we need to really understand how these names and forms are coming. And then you give a form to it. That's all. As we said, body is impermanent, right? The Atma is what transcends. We talked about the law of conservation of Atma. The body is sort of impermanent. That's just a name and form. That is there for this birth. That's about it. This is a kurta I am wearing today. I can put the same form, I can call it a shirt. It is made of the same set of threads. If I use the same material, if it is cotton, if it's wool, it is wool. Some polystyrene or polyester, it's polyester. Simple enough. It takes a different form and shape. That's about it. Similarly, Brahma also has that same thing. We have created a lot of things around it. The reason is we need things to be remembered in a right way. So what is Brahma? Brahma in the Chaturmukha Brahma, or what we call the Chaturmukha Brahma that your question is someone who is representative of the 4 Vedas. then your understanding blows up completely differently. Correct, Hamsini? Now you're not attaching, okay, with one long beard, with 4 beards, and somebody sitting there, etc. Now you are thinking of someone who is actually able to transmit so much of Vedas, so much of knowledge. Okay, so that is where it comes from. All right. Any other questions? No questions? Shall we wind up for today? Okay. We'll meet. So Tuesday, I think the class will be with parents. We'll be doing a session with parents. Just parents around. All your parents are available? One of your parents at least? No, it's not to complain about it. Don't worry. We're not doing any such things. We just want to talk to them about it. That's about it. We want to understand their perspectives, how they thought about it, what is happening, etc. Don't worry. We'll not come. Nothing to talk about you at all here. Okay, we'll have a very similar session. As much, it'll be as much as we have been talking about your parents to you. We'll talk about you to your parents. Have you discussed your parents in these sessions? Can you remember? No, right? Similarly, we'll not discuss about you with your parents also. We'll discuss very different things. Okay. So let your parents know. We'll put it out in the group as well. 16th we'll do that. 19th probably will close. Do you people want to continue these sessions? Do you people have time? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I want a feedback from all of you. Yes. Who wants to tell me what do you think about these sessions?
I can continue it because it's fun.
It is fun, so you want to do it. Okay. Shreya.
And e-learning.
E-learning.
I would
Okay.
like to continue this because it's fun and it's about mythology, and I also love mythology, and also I have time to attend these sessions. So I would
Fantastic.
like to attend this.
You both like to attend. Neil, what about you? Okay, it's a little late in the day for me. I agree. Okay, what about Shriyamsini? Yes, you had told me that you're short on time, but otherwise, beyond.
Sir, I'm okay with attending, but the only thing is, I need to make time, which I don't have.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That's why I said keep the time part aside.
So probably if next year we do have this, I might join. But age bar is there, like it's only till 16, right?
No. What we are planning is not the next year, but probably have it during your sessions. Let's say half an hour a week, rather than saying 1 full hour, 2 days a week. Not so intense.
Yes, sir, I'll try, sir. But if I can't, if you are keeping the sessions next year, I'll join.
Okay. So what I'm talking about is half an hour every week, even when your school is there. Is that possible for Adikshit and Shriyan? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Athar, what do you think?
Sir, I will also continue, sir. It is fun. I'm learning many things about
Okay. Great. Anisha, you can type and message. Would you like to continue these sessions?
So probably I'll continue. The days I'm free, I'll attend. The other days I might not.
Okay, we'll think about how to do this, because I also need to plan, because it's a 1 year long commitment. I'll also have to.
So what's the age bar, sir? Because it's only till 16.
Don't
And I can't attend after that.
So don't worry, we'll allow you in. We'll make an exception for you. Okay. Don't worry about it. All right. So for now, we'll close it with this. Then we will meet on, Tuesday we'll do with parents. 19th we'll formally close this session that we had. That is basically give you a certificate and help you with everything. In the meantime, one day, somewhere in between in the next week, we'll have one more session if possible. Okay. Okay. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Krishna